There's so much to do and not enough time. What if I told you that the root cause of this problem is procrastination? Procrastination can be defined as delaying or postponing something that should be done. Now, butters aren't for reasons other than a lack of willpower. So let me give you 3 powerful ways to stop procrastinating. The first step is to understand what causes procrastination. There are several factors that can contribute to procrastination, including fear of failure or success, perfectionism, low self-esteem, lack of clarity, distractions, fatigue, just to name a few. But today I want to focus on one reason in particular: a lack of motivation. A lack of motivation leads to inaction, which then leads to missed opportunities. So the goal is to find ways to increase your motivation when it comes to taking action on important tasks. So here's the thing: you can boost your motivation to take action by focusing on the benefits of taking action instead of the costs of not taking action. For example, imagine that you're trying to lose weight, but every time you try to get healthy, you seem to give up after a couple of weeks. In this scenario, you might think that the reason you aren't losing weight is because you ain't have enough willpower. But what if instead of focusing on your lack of willpower, you focused on how great you would feel if you were at your ideal weight? How would your life change if you had the energy, confidence, and health that comes along with being at your ideal weight? If you really thought about how much better your life would be in all areas if you lost weight, wouldn't you be more motivated to go hit a workout right now? And the same goes for anything else in life. When we think about the benefits of taking action, we become more motivated. However, when we start thinking about how bad we will feel, or how much worse our lives will be if we don't take action, we become more I am gone. I'll give you a simple formula to follow next time you are faced with a difficult task. This formula will help you visualize the benefits of taking action versus the costs of not taking action. It is called the benefits versus costs worksheet. First, write down the task that you need to complete. Then write down 5 things that'll happen if you do the task. For example, if you want to start a business, 5 things that could happen if you start a business are: I will make more money, I will have more freedom, I will work less hours, I will never have to punch a time clock in again, and I will be my own boss. Next, write down 5 things that'll happen if you don't do the task. For example, if you don't start that business, 5 things that could happen are: I will continue working 9 to 5. I will continue living paycheck to paycheck. I will continue feeling unfulfilled. I will wake up dreading another day of work, and I will eventually burn out from working a job that I hate. Then I want you to list the consequences of each outcome. So for example, if you continue working 9 to 5, what will happen in 6 months, in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years? The point is to really think through and write down what your life will look like if you do the task versus if you don't do the task. After you fill out this worksheet, it should become clear to you which path you should take. If you still struggle with motivation, I recommend using the 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule states that if something takes 2 minutes to do, get it done right now. Now, I know this sounds simple, but oftentimes when we are faced with an undesirable task, we will try to convince ourselves that we are too busy to do it now, and we will make plans to do it later, even though we know that those plans will most likely not happen, because we have a tendency to procrastinate, even more when it comes to dealing with our procrastination. Instead of relying on our motivation to get things done, we need to trick our brain into taking action. And the best way to do that is by breaking down our goals into small steps and then forcing ourselves to take the first small step. Because once we get started, the momentum will carry us through to the finish line. Now, here's the thing. Most people tend to put off dealing with the negative emotions that arise when they think about taking action. They try to avoid dealing with the discomfort, whether it be fear, uncertainty, anxiety, whatever it may be, and they hope that the negative feelings will just magically disappear if they ignore them long enough. But this is a very common misconception. Negative feelings will not just magically go away. Instead, they will build up and intensify until you finally give in and take action. And at that point, you would have wasted all that time procrastinating, and you will most likely end up completing the task in a sloppy manner. Now, this does not mean that you have to feel excited about doing the task. In fact, there are many times where I have to force myself to do things that I really do and want to do, such as cleaning my room or waking up early to work on my business. But the key is to acknowledge those negative feelings and realize that it is okay to feel that way. Once you realize that it is okay to feel negative emotions when you think about taking action, you can start to focus on solving the actual problem rather than wasting time trying to fix your lack of motivation. The second step to stop procrastinating is to use deadlines wisely. Deadlines are powerful motivators, and here's why. Let's say that you are given a project that is due in 30 days. If you are not the type of person who can hold yourself accountable, then having a 30-day window to procrastinate will most likely result in you not getting the project done. So instead, I want you to break down your larger project into smaller tasks and set deadlines for those smaller tasks. If the project is due in 30 days, then set mini deadlines for each day. For example, if today is Monday, set mini deadlines for each day starting with today. On Monday, I want you to list down all the tasks that need to be completed for the project and estimate how long each task will take. Then, I want you to start circling deadlines on your calendar starting with today. To do this properly, you need to be realistic. Don't underestimate how long a task will take. It is better to add a couple of extra minutes to each task than to underestimate and end up scrambling to meet your deadline. When you are done setting deadlines, circle them on your calendar. Once you see all of these deadlines circled on your calendar, you will start to feel the pressure to take action. Remember, deadlines are powerful motivators, so use them to your advantage. The third step is to eliminate distractions. Eliminating distractions is key to getting more things done, and there are 3 types of distractions that I want you to be aware of. The first is internal distractions, which are things like a lack of clarity, fear of failure or success, perfectionism, low self-esteem, etc. We talked about how to deal with internal distractions in the previous step. The second type of distraction is external distractions. These are things like your phone, social media, your friends, TV, whatever it is that pulls you away from your work. Now, it is impossible to completely cut out external distractions from your life. So instead of trying to do that, I want you to limit your distractions. An easy way to do this is by creating a distraction-free zone where you work. This can be a physical space like a desk, or it can be a mental space like a certain time of day. For example, I created a distraction-free zone in my life by committing to only check my phone and emails twice per day. By limiting my distractions, I am able to focus on the task at hand and get more things done in less time. This means that if you are constantly switching between tasks throughout the day, you will spend a significant amount of time simply transitioning between tasks instead of actually getting work done. So instead of multitasking, I want you to batch similar tasks together. For example, instead of checking your emails throughout the day, set aside specific blocks of time to check and respond to your emails. Doing this will help you get more things done in less time. As you can see, procrastination can be caused by a variety of factors. But today I wanted to focus on one factor in particular, a lack of motivation. If you can learn how to reprogram your mind to focus on the benefits of taking action versus the costs of not taking action, then you will drastically reduce your procrastination. So that's it for today, guys. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.